up, everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. We're coming at you with a super spicy episode 280, and we're recording on May 6th, 2024. My script is an absolute mess. I'm Doug, and joining me today, we got Warren.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Anita.
Hello.
As a quick reminder, check out SojuTalk on your favorite podcast platform, sub to us on YouTube, and join the SojuTalk Discord and be a part of the nation. Okay, so last week we released 2 videos, right? We released the regular episode, and then we released Warren's presentation on the Hybe Hee-jin Adore Civil War thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one popped off. That thing got 6.2 thousand views, right?
Something
it's
like
Nice.
our second most viewed video on our channel. I would say the vast majority of people were pretty satisfied with that video, but some people were very angry. But ironically, there were people angry on both sides of the argument. So I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe
to
that's
be honest.
good.
So people were angry saying we're too pro Hybe. People were saying we're too pro Hee-jin. So I don't know. Maybe we hit the middle spot well. That's what I'm concluding there. The reason I'm mentioning this is because in the after hours today, there's been a little bit of follow up. Nothing crazy as in anything really happened, but more they just keep publicly rebuttaling each other, right?
Information,
More info's coming out, so we'll be covering that in the news then. Okay, in terms of the song, there's 2 songs from this week: Solar, But I, and Xdinary Heroes, Little Things. But there was an overwhelming amount of people who were saying hey, this coming week ain't too crazy. Would y'all consider covering stuff from previous weeks? So I made a whole poll on the Discord about that, and the song that made it in was Yuqi's Korean solo debut with Freak. So we are going to be covering that.
Nice.
All right, let's start with that one. Yuqi, Freak solo debut. So it's kind of confusing because she has released solo songs before, like that Bonnie and Clyde song. I remember that one. That one was really good.
Little thing, yeah.
But Cube announced that this is her Korean solo debut, even though none of the song is in Korean. So I don't know what we're doing here.
Irony.
All
Cube
English.
still, even though G-Idol themselves have been kind of memeing that they only have a year and a half left at this godforsaken company. They've been memeing about it, honestly.
I've seen that. Yes,
so I wonder
have.
what's gonna happen there. Last 3 songs, Could It Be, which was the pre-release, Bonnie and Clyde, and she also released a song called Giant. Okay. I'm kind of conflicted about this song, right?
Okay.
This is one of those songs where it's a disadvantage that I speak English, I think, because I don't like the lyrics.
Oh no.
Really?
You know what I'm meaning? When the song's in Korean, right? And I'm reading subtitles, oftentimes I don't get the 100% gist of the lyrics, right? What
Yes.
they mean specifically, because they translate it.
It's not the same effect. Yeah.
In this song, because the subtitles are just basically what she's singing, right? They're English subtitles, she's singing in English, and I see these lyrics and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is where we get that G-Idol cheese from, that cheesiness in some of the G-Idol songs. I think this is a symptom of that, or maybe she's the source of the cheese.
So, as primarily a Korean speaker, I argue this is no better or worse than most of the K-pop here.
Okay, fair.
Welcome to How It's Been.
Okay.
I don't think it's
terrible,
that bad.
though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
She's a freak 10 days a week. That's I thought that was clever, obviously
No,
there's
I
only
like-
7
no,
days a week,
I like the song way more if I didn't understand the lyrics. I'll put it in. I like
takes
the
you
song,
out a
I like the
little.
melodies. I think it's all great. She sings great.
Okay.
It's just some of these lyrics to me are just a little out there.
Give me an example. Pull me a line.
Okay,
How do you feel about Drew and the Barrymore?
I'm not a fan because I don't want to make an assumption, right? But
Right.
Drew Barrymore was relevant in the 90s, early 2000s, right?
Right.
I know she has a podcast now, I think, or a show now, but she was mostly relevant at that time when Yuqi was 2 years old, 3 years old, right? She was a child. And then it just sometimes I feel lyrics like this just don't fit what I think Yuqi would be singing about. It's apparent to me that I don't think Yuqi wrote these lyrics. I feel Yuqi's just singing the lyrics that someone wrote up for this song. And it just kind of breaks my immersion because I'm I don't think she knows who Drew Barrymore is that well. you know, something like
see.
that.
No, I see
You
that.
get what I'm saying there?
Yeah,
Like I think there's just a disconnect.
It's not
Yeah.
convincing as something
Yeah.
Yugi would sing about. I know we're in a pop industry, and I know we're in an industry where, like, you know, the artist typically does not work on the song by themselves at all.
No.
And it's very rare when the, you know, musician writes their music and all that. And I think that's pretty. I think there's a lot of pros and cons that comes with that, but I still feel like there needs to be an immersion, like a convincing characterization side to it, where like we need to believe that this is Yuqi at the end of the day that's singing this song. It's her coming from her because she's selling the character of Yuqi from G-Idle. So I think if that is not working out for you, I'm sure there's other things that playing it too. But yeah,
she's like singing about Honda Civics. Like I don't think that's a very popular car in Korea or China, right? You know, like.
I'll be honest, like that didn't sound good to begin with. Like just the way the words sounded. Like you're talking about the second verse, right? The beginning of the second verse.
Yeah.
I don't know, Anita. Clearly, you don't agree though, because you were like, I mean,
No. I guess to me, when I heard the song, right, I guess I understood what kind of sound they were going for, what concept they were going for.
Yeah, I like the sound. Yeah.
Right? Like I'm thinking like a lot of the inspiration I think that was coming from was like something similar to what Olivia Rodrigo has been doing, like kind of like rockish, punkish, but with primarily being pop, right? And I feel like that's kind of what I was getting here too. So to me, it felt like, okay, so this is what we're going for this song. Obviously, that has like this connotation of a certain pop culture references and like pop like visuals too. Like the song itself, like pop culture references to scary movies, right?
Yeah,
I thought that was very interesting, right? But I feel like that
very
made that
classic
connect.
horror movies, right? There's like
Scream,
there's like
The Shining,
The Ring, you know.
Right. So I feel like having that, I feel like okay, so we're going for that sort of vibe. Very like not I don't know if it's still considered Y2K, but like that kind of concept. So to me, it felt like okay, so we're not really doing like an identity for Yugi, more of a sound, like a concept for this project, right? Because she also has another like a B-side song that is nothing like this. So I'd be like, okay, so we're not really establishing like a brand, like a sound for her as a soloist. More like just this will be a one-time thing.
Yugi is on the lyrics section, so she did write some of these lyrics.
Oh, nice.
Interesting.
To what extent, I am not sure, because there's like three other people with her.
She is one. She comes after Jop Pingman, Kyle Faulkner, someone named Alden. I'm butchering your name. Alder Agner, Godra Legend, and then Woogie.
So yeah, I mean, to be honest, I feel like I understood where it was going, where the song was trying to go. I think it made sense, and I feel like personality-wise, I guess it also kind of makes sense. Like I feel like she's a very bright, fun person, so I guess having that sort of vibe too was not like too out of like the imagination like, for her to go for. I guess I was just as a person who was more interested in like them having more of a what will be her sound, right? It is a little like, oh, I kind of wish it would have gone a different route, but I understand what they were going for. So I guess I'm not too disappointed, too surprised.
I think what's disappointing for me a little bit is that it's a little too clear what they're going for in terms of sound. It's pretty standard beat. There we got this bossa nova guitar rhythm. It's slowed down a whole bunch. The bum 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 bum. That's like a bossa nova rhythm. That is the guitar riff that's playing out through the entire track. And then you have these slow down trap drums, which I mean, if you think that's outdated, that's fine. I just think it's like a genre standard at this point. That is there throughout most of the song, and then when you right before the chorus, it does the K-pop bridge build thing. You can't skip that apparently. And you end up with this, this pretty standard sounding, just normal sounding, just.
For me, it's just like after we listened to her do that Bonnie and Clyde Clyde song a couple years ago. For me, I was just expecting something more in that direction. I don't even think in that direction. I was expecting a little something more.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I understand pop meta, the K-pop trend has changed a lot between Bonnie and Clyde and Freak. This is definitely something that I would not have expected from K-pop 2 years ago, but now is definitely in the K-pop realm. You know what I mean? Like I would throw this in a playlist with that 50/50 track, the IVE track, the Billy track, the New Jeans track from last week. I would probably throw in Wendy in there.
Oh yes,
you see
Wendy.
the list. You know what I mean? This one in particular leans a lot less disco and a lot more in a R&B pop trap kind of direction. But I think the core of it doesn't really change. It's like I don't know. We've had a lot of renditions of this in the past couple months, years, and I'm kind of ready to move on from it. Especially if I think back to last week where we had a pretty good interpretation of this kind of sound. And on top of that, I really don't think this is like particularly a good choice for Yuqi either. You know what I mean? Like kind of going back to what Doug was saying, like Bonnie and Clyde felt unique. It felt like a very well-fitting suit for Yuqi. It made sense for her.
Especially with the vocal tone she had.
Right.
I thought it was crazy.
Right. And like, I'm not saying Yuqi is doing a terrible job to any means. I think she's doing what she can. I think she's actually doing a pretty good job here. It's just...
Hey, she sold 500K of this EP, so we could shut them up. You know? Like, at the end of the day...
I just think it was a poor use of her voice tone. You know what I mean? Like, there's better things you could have done. And yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. At the end of the day, it's like, I think this is a passable song, right? I never said the song's terrible. I'm just not a fan of the lyrics, is the point I was trying to make at the beginning.
Solid tingly.
It's a tingly track. But at the same time, for me, it's just like, I feel like she, as an artist, if this is what she's trying to show to us with the Korean solo debut, right? If this is what she wants us to tell us and show us, all I learned was apparently she thinks she's freaky, right? Like that's all I got. She wants to tell us that she's a freak, and I'm like, cool, that's you, that's fine. But at the same time, I don't feel like vocally and artistically she really challenged herself on this one. You know what I mean?
No, it really feels like they took the easiest way out, and that's where I feel like I'm leaning a little more towards mild with this one.
They just got a nice pop track, and they're like, sing it. She's like, okay, I'll sing it. Boom, right? And that's what we got here.
I mean, it's fine. It'll work for a lot of people. It's just not my thing.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the next one. We got Solar from Mamamoo with But I. She is from RBW. Last two songs were Honey and Spit It Out. This track's a very interesting track, right? Like,
agree.
Yeah.
There's like a melancholy piano segment where she's like riding through the desert with a casket behind her horse. So I was like, oh goodness, what is going on here? Right? Right. And then it also shows on the next scene that she's the one being dragged by the horse, right? Like, I was like, oh, okay. And she's at a piano in the desert. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then it just switched to more like, I don't know, what do we call that type of thing? The second sound of this track. What is the genre? I have no clue what that is.
I'd say the first verse is a ballad, and then once you hit the chorus, it's like a rock pop rock.
It's like a rock opera all of a sudden.
A little bit, yeah.
Yep.
The song it reminds me the most is, okay, this is like, I don't know if the West was really into this one, but there's a song by Zior Park last year that popped off called Christian, right? And this song has a lot, like that upbeat section has a lot of the same motifs that song has.
Especially, particularly that vocal motif of like, oh, that thing particularly feels like something Zior Park has been really pushing the last couple albums. Yeah, I don't know. This was a popular trend, a popular cliche back in K-pop around, I'd say, like mid 2000s ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for confirming that. This felt a little like I felt like I've heard this structure, but not recently. Like I felt a little not retro, but like going back to something that was popular before. But I couldn't pinpoint it. Like what could it could be?
A very popular song that is still somewhat relevant today, and Doug is gonna know this song, is called Pari Pari 8282 by Davichi.
Yes.
Yeah. Like this was a huge cliche back in the 2000s. Do a ballad section, do an upbeat.
That's a great
rock
song
section.
though. That's an amazing song.
Yeah, and like I think there needs to be a couple of devices in place for that to work out properly, and I think that's a little missing here. The transitions feel unnecessarily pulled out for no reason.
That's my problem. I thought if we were going to do a ballad for the first 30 seconds of the song, and then the entire rest of the song is in this other style, I think it would have made more sense than us going back and forth through these like arduous transitions. You know what I mean?
The transitions, quite frankly, they didn't need to happen here. I was tempted to take the song and just rip it apart and take the transitions out. It still would have worked fine, because this song, to be quite blunt, it's a very gimmicky song. It works off of one device of providing that one contrast. By pulling out that transition unnecessarily, you're giving it away. It was very painfully clear what they're going for, and that just takes away from the surprise element. And then you end up in a situation where, like, I know what's happening. You know what's happening. Quite frankly, even if you're not familiar with this cliche, third listen in, chances are you're already like, okay, I mean, we already know what's going to happen. Now, if the individual sections of the song, whether that be the verse or whether that be the chorus, if that's working for you, like, then I'm sure you have a fun time with the song. It's just, all of the other things also felt kind of lackluster as well. The chorus felt kind of, I don't know. That thing felt just came out of nowhere. I was like, do we need it?
I was like, oh, we're transitioning into more of an upbeat thing, right? And then all of a sudden we got like Rocky Horror Picture Show going on, and I was like, when did I ask for this? You know, when did this happen? And she's like, I was like, oh god, it's just like we're doing like rock opera all of a sudden, right? It's happening, and then
props though, but the fact that I feel like all of her solos have not been the same, so like they've all been
correct,
like a bit different. Like Honey was nothing like this.
No,
but I mean, I guess like you said, I found the song very interesting just because it was doing something that I had not heard in a while, that she had not done before. And I don't know, maybe if, like Warren was mentioning, if some things were rearranged or like maybe omitted, it would have been more impactful, because she has really good vocals. And like when I'm thinking back to that Davichi comparison, like that vocal capacity is very, very nice, because then you get to show two sides, right? Like the ballad in the beginning in the front, and then like going off really high in the chorus. But I guess it was a missed opportunity with this one.
Yeah, I if I think about like where Solar has been with the previous stuff, it's not like she's not like I don't think she's particularly interested in building out a Solar color, you know what I mean? Like Hee-jin is definitely interested in becoming the next level ballad person. That's what I've gotten. Not sure if that's exactly what she's going for, but with Solar, especially with the last release, it felt more like she's trying out different things in pop music. This, for the lack of a better term, is also kind of in kind of trend with the rest of pop music right now. We got band music, rock music.
That's true. Yeah.
The Y2K throwback I was just talking about, like that I think that all part makes sense.
This song's kind of addicting though. I don't know. Like, it's not like I'm not a huge fan of what goes on, like some of the decisions, but I gotta respect it though.
Right.
I thought she sang it really well, because of course she sang it well. She's Solar, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt like strange. I don't know how to put it. Right? It's not for not my cup of tea.
I don't know. It'd be one thing if so when I'm coming back to this, when I'm thinking about the song, I got to think about replayability, and I just feel like that's missing here. You know what I mean? Like if I go back to 8282 Dabichi Pari Pari, that song works so well because once you hit those high notes in terms of emotion, you're just there and you keep going. It's constant build. The contrasting sections, the change-ups, those make sense because they're used as build-ups towards the final climax. Here it just looks like an M, the whole song. You know what I mean? Goes up once, comes back down, goes back up, goes back down. Yeah. That's it.
The end was kind of like
an M because it doesn't even go down all the way. You know, like it's literally an M.
Yeah, you just wrap it up there.
It halfway goes back to the ballad, but it doesn't, right?
Yeah,
it goes
I know.
a little bit lower.
Like this song should have been
high.
4 minutes 30 seconds, and that it would have benefited so much from that. Like build on each of the sections, make it work, pull out those stupid transitions, you know, give it a proper outro, and then I think the song would have had a lot more time to sit and work. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a songwriter.
This is a tingly though. I don't think it's a bad song.
Tingly as well, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a mild here, but
Oh my, double mile?
I tend to be a little
mile.
Yeah.
Double mile. All right, let's move to the last one. Xdinary Heroes, Little Things They Are from JYP. Last 3 songs, Break the Break?
Yeah, Break the Break.
Break the Break,
Yeah.
Freaking Bad, and Haircut. You know, we have not covered Xdinary Heroes in a hot minute. I don't think we've covered them since their like debut.
No. I don't think we
might
have.
be
Oh,
right,
right?
yeah.
I don't think we have.
I had to go back and listen to their previous stuff.
I saw people saying that this is a very good entry point into Xdinary Heroes if you're kind of into the type of music that Day 6 releases. Would you agree with that statement?
You know, I was getting a lot of Day 6 vibes. I know it's
can see it.
because of JYP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Whatever we have here, I thought was great. I was very compelled by this track.
What'd you like about it?
Well, the thing with K-pop bands is always interesting to me, where like everyone has to be able to sing other than like the drummer. You know what I mean? Like that's still a weird concept to me because like the bands I grew up liking was like Green Day, My Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
They have one guy. It's like the Linkin Park. Linkin Park has some rappers, but you know Chester Benningfield was the guy. It was the voice, right?
Right.
K-pop groups. It's. I always find bands in K-pop so interesting because they sing like a K-pop group, but they function like a band.
But okay, I think that's recent though, and maybe it's even more like JYP focused because when I think of like FT Island,
FT Island, Roppongi.
What?
Yeah.
right? It was one main guy, really.
It was one main guy, but other people sang too.
Okay, but not as much as they are. Not as much as Day 6, not as much as Xdinary Heroes.
Okay.
Yeah, they have like this is your part.
Proper
You sing
like
this part.
line distribution here.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay. I mean, everybody's singing the Beatles.
Not everybody. Ringo was not singing that much.
I'm sure
if at
Ringo
all.
like yelled things out when they were chanting.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what he yelled at.
Ringo in red letters, and then John Lennon.
He later had more of a career after, but
that's different.
within
though.
the band, yes.
Okay. The reason I was thinking about Day 6 a lot with this was because this felt a lot more emotional, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Like it has,
yes.
it definitely has that minor key, like melancholic.
The upbeat melancholy thing.
Right.
It's so good. It just works.
It just works. I keep coming back to this. Upbeat sad is really
It's
what
great.
K-pop is good at.
It's
This
great.
is that example. Who wrote this? Collapsed One. My guy. I love him. Remember him? Remember I used to like say good things about him every week back when he was dropping twice in Fromis 9 tracks.
Because like a lot of these more darker rock songs are the vibe is supposed to be like, oh, it's depressing, nihilistic, and then once you make it upbeat, for some reason it's just like, wow, we could go fast while having like kind of depressing messaging. It just works, right?
We all fucking suck. Ooh.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, we all suck.
We all suck.
And I think in terms of the performance too in the music video, they captured the angstiness very well, which is a staple.
Oh yeah.
Of certain types of rock, right?
Oh yeah.
They're really hitting that angstiness, and I think it's great.
Speaking of that music video, I really like the set. The stupid.
It was
groove.
a very minimalistic set. It was literally just a box that's getting compressed over time, right?
Right.
Like,
and then during the break, I like the break in this one, guys. During the break, they escape out of the vent,
Yes.
and now they're in the streets. And I was like, okay,
Very metaphorical.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if this is a green screen, but if it's not, that means they were filming this music video with a raid machine on a random street in Seoul. I hope it wasn't a green screen. I want to know. Someone let me know if they have behind the scenes footage of the filming. I hope it was not a green screen because it would have been hilarious.
That doesn't
You
look
imagine
like
you're like
green screen.
you're drunk from the club, you're in a taxi, and you drive by, you see a raid machine, and you see dudes like doing rock stuff out the window. It'd be so funny.
in the middle of Seoul.
in the middle of Seoul, right?
He's like, I gotta go to work.
Yeah. I really wonder if it was a green screen or not.
So, I don't know if I haven't liked the Xdinary Heroes version of it, or if I just don't like it in general. But some of the stuff they've been doing up until this point, which have been like, I don't know the rock genres too well, but more like aggressive, glam rock, power rock kind of thing. I have not been a huge fan of. I'm not gonna lie, especially their debut, which is a little too far for me. In this realm is. This kind of sound, I think, is typically a lot more accessible to the general public in Korea.
It's more melodic as a whole.
It's a lot more melodic. It is the type of melody that sells like crazy. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a step closer for them to gain more general public traction. I don't know how it's performing in the charts. Xdinary Heroes has not previously had a lot of way in the charts, but I really hope it does with this one, because
punk is just better sounding than glam rock. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just that's a Doug opinion. That's a completely my opinion. I've always like punk more than glam rock.
I mean, to be honest, before this release, right? I saw a couple of clips of some of the covers they've done. They've done a lot of covers for like other K-pop songs, other band songs. So I kind of was wishing that they would go for a more I don't want to call it typical, but like a more of what I think is popular with K-pop listeners, right? Like the Day6 sounds, like the FD Island sound that I think is more approachable for that audience. But just maybe like with a different spin, a different flavor from them. Because they're all really, really good vocalists. Like I really think they're very, very talented vocalists.
Oh, you know what I even thought? Like I was writing down people's names and they were like lead vocals, like not even the main vocals. And I was like, wow, these guys are good.
Yeah, no, they're all really strong vocalists.
They have like like regular K-pop group that we're gonna sing a lot level vocals. You know what I mean?
Oh
like,
yeah, 100%.
It's
so I'm glad
impressive
that they're exploring the sound. I think the concern, maybe like my speculation of what why the reason they started off the way they did, right, was because they didn't want a lot of overlap with Day6, and they wanted to maybe differentiate themselves that way. I don't know. I feel like at this point, it's okay maybe to have like a little overlap, because essentially it will sound a little different because they're different people. But I think it's fine. I feel like it's this sounding a little bit more in that realm still is not. I wouldn't say like, oh, this is the exact same song that Day6.
Well, yeah, Day6 last release was different. More like uplifting rock, right?
Right. So I feel like there could be some differences here and there. I don't think it's that much of a risk. So,
in quite all honesty, like it can be angsty, it can be upbeat, and I still think there's a lot of range you can have there. With just the last two releases, one from Xdinary Heroes and one from Day6, I see a lot of differences. Mainly that Day6 feels a lot more mature and Xdinary Heroes feel a lot more angsty. That all makes sense to me. Like I don't see this as an overlap as well. So if this is something, JP, you're concerned about, my boy,
I think
preaching
bands,
online.
Bands are having K-pop bands, specifically K-pop groups that do like bands that do more K-pop sounding music. I think it's having a renaissance right now.
Oh, I think rock music in general is having a renaissance.
All of them have been really good lately. Yeah. Anything we've covered that's like with a band has been really good as of late. And this Juyeon kid, the main vocalist, killing it, honestly. He's doing a good
Juyeon was good. Jongsu was really good, especially on that first verse. Like I was like, man, like you sound pissed off. You sound like you've yelled at your mom at some point. You sound like the kid who's shutting the door to your bedroom. Like I buy that. You know what I mean?
I see.
I have been convinced per our conversation earlier. Rock music has been having a bit of a rock group. Uplift.
We need more rock K-pop groups because it's a lot of fun. Yes. It's 100%. A lot of fun, and also any of the people who are like doing music that somewhat references like J-rock anime songs are absolutely killing it right now too, right? There's a huge market for that as well. I think it's a great time. We need to see some of the like FTI got to drop something soon. You know, they need to get in on this, or who else? And Flying needs to drop stuff. They would be perfect for this type of stuff.
Or go check out
because other than like Honggi from FT Island, I would say some of the N Flying dudes might have the best like vocals in a rock group at the moment.
Or go check out the numerous amounts of great indie bands coming from Korea.
Well, that's the easier thing to do. That's the more logical thing.
I agree.
Yeah, the member of FT Island, that Hee-sung kid, I think he's an S tier singer. I think he's extremely good. The one who was on Produce back in the day.
Wait, what group is he in?
FT Island. No, FT Island. N Flying.
Oh.
N Flying. He was in Produce. Yes.
Hee-sung. He's an extremely good singer.
Yes.
All right. I would say.
Can I go first? I want to say Spicy.
Okay, you.
Yeah.
Spicy?
Spicy. This is great alternative rock. No complaints.
I mean, for me, it's clearly the best song of the week out of the three.
Yeah, and that's honestly helping me biased a little bit, getting me biased a little bit.
Would I put it in Spicy though? Probably would. Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
What about you, Anita?
I feel like I'm still waiting for them to develop this sound in particular a little further, but I like it. I was gonna say the chorus melody is very catchy, like it's very easy, very memorable. So I like that. I feel like I would probably go back to see some of the live stages. So I'll put it at a low Spicy.
This is the song that's gonna get me into Xdinary Heroes for sure. All right, let's talk about the other big releases from this week. The King Dom. They changed their name.
Oh God.
They released Flip That Coin. Do Kyung-soo. So Dio now goes by his government name because I think SM might own the trademark to Dio. So he's going by Do Kyung-soo. He released Popcorn. So that was his track. The controversial artist Hyuna, because of her partner choice, released Q&A. I saw people just boycotting because they don't like what she's doing in IRL. Unite released Geekin, TOZ released New Shoes, Elast released Gasoline, Fantasy Boys released Pitter Patter Love, and Pentagon's Kino released Broke My Heart featuring Lay Banks. Anita, there was a song that came out. God, I don't remember off the top of my head. One of these NCT kids had a solo debut like last 2 weeks ago. Doyoung Little Light, right?
Yes.
That's an amazing song.
He is an amazing singer.
It's a really good song. Please go check that one out.
The song is called Little Light. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a shame we did not cover it. It's great.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. All right, Spice King though. Last week, episode 279, Rise Impossible picked up its second crown and is now eligible for the Hall of Spice. Second place, Zico Spot featuring Jenny. Third place, New Jeans Bubblegum. The new candidates this week are the three songs we covered: Solar, But I, Xdinary Heroes, Little Things, G-Idol, Yugi, Freak. Okay. Rise Impossible has to enter Hall of Spice, guys. It has to. It has to. Second place, I'm in between Zico and I'm in between Xdinary Heroes for second and third.
Ooh. Oh.
I'm going to put Xdinary Heroes in second, and then I'll put Zico in third, and that is my chart.
Okay.
I like that.
It is impossible for me not to put Rise in first. So they're first again.
Oh, God.
So they're first again.
Terrible pun.
So yes. What can I say? I've said what I said. I really like the song. It's great. Great song for the warmer weather too. Like I really like it. So first place, second place.
They're in their view era right now. They're just
exactly. Great. Second place, I'm still gonna give it to Bubblegum from New Jeans.
Okay.
I also love how a lot of I think it's fans, like people who listen to their stuff, do a lot of remixes. I love hearing the remixes.
Have you all seen all the mini Hee-jin remixes this week of all of their songs.
That too. That's
It's so funny.
Interesting.
So funny.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. But Bubblegum, second place. Third, I was a little torn about third place, but I'm gonna give it to Xdinary Heroes.
Wow.
Yes, little things. I'm really rooting for them. I've seen some very short like variety stuff too.
Ooh,
like,
you're getting into the variety. Uh-oh.
Yeah, what was it? Is he a lead singer? I don't remember. I just know that he has a very strong Busan accent when he talks. And
Simon D.
No, not him. But him and another member were in like a very short segment of like a JYP. No, it was like a JYP special they did. They had Jihyo going like through the company doing some stuff. And they ran into them and they were talking for a while. And they were really funny.
It must have been Juyeon because he was born in Ansan but moved to Daegu when he was young.
Oh, Daegu, that's what it is. Never mind. But he's funny. So I'm rooting for them. I hope they do well. And the song does well too. So, Xdinary Heroes.
I agree. I like the Xdinary Heroes songs a lot. I think it's very lovely. I think lovely is not the right word. It's a good song is what I meant. Second place.
Nice.
I don't know if they'll continue down this route. Personally, I'm a little cautious about saying I want them to do more of this because I know so far they've gained a lot of popularity by not doing stuff like this. So I feel like that's a bit of a double-sided sword. You know, if you're an Xdinary Heroes fan, I don't know what your fandom name is. Let me know how you guys feel. I would like to know how you guys feel about their shift in sound a little bit. Do you guys like it? Do you not? I don't know. I personally like it. Second place. Bubblegum by New Jeans. I'm coming back to it. I kind of like it now. Took a little bit of time for me to get into it, partially because it's not on Spotify. Still fucking annoying. Now I have to go through this legally questionable route of, attaining an audio file and then putting it on my, you know what I mean? Like,
legally questionable.
Legally questionable, but hey, I've done worse things in my life. I've jaywalked all the time here. All right, third place, Bubblegum by New Jeans. Nice. That leaves me with first spot for Spot by Zico featuring Jennie. I hate to break it to you, all the Rise fans and everybody who thinks Impossible should be first place. I think that's a good song too. But Spot is just, it's just a captivating K-pop song at its core. Zico at its best. Jennie at her best. What do you know? It's great collaboration, great chemistry, great vibes, great combo. Jennie's popping off in those collabs with General Monster. I saw the lines outside of the store this weekend.
So rejuvenated these days. It's great, right? Yeah,
bro.
She's been freed from the basement. Honestly,
she is. I support free Jennie. Free Jennie. Free Jennie. I support that.
Gochu Gang and SojuTalk Nation, they voted in third place G-Idol Yugi Freak with 65 points. Second place Zico Spot featuring Jennie 71, and in first Rise Impossible 78.
Let's go.
As a result, in third place this week, Xdinary Heroes Little Things with 7 points. Second place Zico Spot featuring Jennie 9. First place, Third Crown entering the Hall of Spice, Rise Impossible with 15
As
points.
They should.
Boom. Now, the Hall of Spice class of 2024. NMIX Dash, La Seraphim Easy, Chungha Inimini featuring AT's Hongjun, I-DLE Magnetic, Rise Impossible. That is the Hall of Spice class of 2024.
What a great list of songs.
That's a great list.
A
Remember Dash? I forgot that existed.
Dash, I wanna dash, I wanna run it. Yeah.
Great
all right,
song,
show winners.
song.
Anita, hit us with them.
Yes, we have a couple starting off with I-DLE and Magnetic. They won an Inkigayo. And I believe that was a triple crown for them.
It is.
So congrats. They have a total of 12 wins with this debut.
God damn.
Congratulations to them again. And then we have Lee Chan-won, A Travel to the Sky. Won on Music Bank, Show Music Core, 2 wins. Not familiar with this track.
He's an extremely popular trot singer.
Ah, trot.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And then Doyoung from NCT with Little Light won on Show Champion, first solo win. Big congrats to him. And then finally, Baby Monster with
Sheesh.
One on Countdown. First win for them. Also, big congrats.
The sad thing for them is they won their first win after they finished promoting, so they were not there.
Oh,
that's
I
So,
mean, a win is a win. A win is a win, though.
Win is a win.
Win is a win.
Win is a win.
All right. That ends part 1 of SojuTalk episode 280. We'll be back after a short break. 2, 1.
Hello, SojuTalk Nation. This is Anita here with a quick PSA. If you would like to support SojuTalk Kpop Podcast, please like, subscribe, or follow us on whatever platform you're using. And consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/SojuTalk or donating to us at paypal.me/SojuTalk. On behalf of the crew and myself, thank you. Now back to our regularly scheduled episode.
Hey, what's up, everyone? We are back with part 2 of SojuTalk episode 280. We got some news and events from the past week. This is the non-Hybe versus Hee-jin Adore Civil War news, because we're going to be doing that at the end of the show again. So this is the again, this is the non-Hybe versus Hee-jin Adore Civil War news. The first thing, the Korean Fair Trade Commission has approved Kakao's acquisition of about 40% stake of SM Entertainment shares with corrective measures and conditions to ensure fair competition and to prevent damage to customers. So, basically, the Korean FTC was like, okay, we approve that you're going to acquire 40% of SM, but here are the conditions you need to follow. Number 1, Kakao is banned from refusing or delaying music supply requests from Melon's competitors without reasonable grounds. And number 2, Kakao was ordered to establish an independent body comprising of at least 5 external members to regularly monitor Kakao's potential favoritism towards Melon. So if you don't know, Kakao owns Melon, and that's a problem because that's an album distributor, and also a streaming platform. So a lot of conflicts of interest in now owning one of the biggest K-pop companies as well. So that's why they have these clauses in place.
They're owning the entire funnel. They own the management rights to the artist, the label, the production, the publishing, the distribution, and then the consumption as well. That's the whole funnel right there.
Yeah.
So that's, from a consumer perspective, kind of concerning. I hope number 1 and 2, these clauses are enough to prevent any shitty things from happening. But
we'll have to see, because it's Korea. Okay, let's keep going. Next one. So, SM Entertainment announced a new label called Crucialize.
Oh, wow.
Crucialize?
Okay.
And people are like, they don't really know what's going on, but they announced a new label. I don't know what this means as a whole, but people are saying it's a new contemporary R&B focused label.
Oh,
contemporary R&B.
Contemporary R&B. Oh, sultry R&B music.
Yeah,
right
so
to the eardrums.
We'll have to see what that means. But hey, that's they're doing something there.
Anita, who do you want as an artist under Crucialize? Give me a name. Your favorite R&B person.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know, like, who. Okay, to be honest, I'm a little cautious of now, like, music label subsidiaries and whatnot. So, I mean, this is good for, like, smaller acts, right? That need, like, exposure, like, management, but, like, I don't know.
But in 3 years, the CEO of Crucialize is attempting to take over the management of Crucialize.
I really want to go visit the Little Forest new SM building, because I did not see it when I was in Korea.
Forest?
I want to see the Hybe building too. That I heard it's humongous. I want to go see it.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since you've been to Korea, yeah?
Yeah, I've not been there since 2019.
Same.
Wow. I mean, the way SM handles their subsidiaries are it's a little different from the way SM Hype does them, but we'll see what happens. I'm kind of excited.
We'll see.
In the midst of the Civil War, Big Hit Music announced a global audition.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh,
2024 Big Hit Music Global Audition.
Wow.
It's going to occur between May 2nd and August 31st.
Okay.
Any field where you can show yourself. So they want all types of talent. You could do anything, they said.
Interesting.
Eligibility, any male born after 2006.
Whoa.
They are doing a big hit proper boy group thing, it seems like.
Right.
This is not Hype. This is proper big hit.
Proper big hit. And they're doing on-site auditions. Hawaii, LA, OC, is it
Orange County? Right?
Orange County,
I think so.
Vancouver, Toronto, Sydney, Melbourne, Auckland, Bangkok, Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, Singapore, Jakarta, Taipei, Tokyo, Osaka, Seoul.
Oh.
Wait,
okay.
So it can apply for any field where you can show yourself, right?
Yeah, they just want
2006.
it seems like they just want talented individuals.
We're gonna apply as K-pop podcasters,
2006?
as commentators on K-pop. We're gonna show up, be like, "Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Warren. I'm born in July 2007."
If you're a 2006, right? So if you're old for this edition, you're like 17, right? If you're old, like 6, yeah, that's old.
Jesus.
You're old.
That's crazy. All right, let's keep going.
Older.
Road to Kingdom 2 reported full lineup. So this is not confirmed, but people think it's going to be ATBO, 8-turn, Gravity, the new 6, Unite, and Zykers. Gravity seems way too big for the show.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that.
This kind of feels like Mnet just wants Gravity to win it so they could join the bigger show.
What?
Does it not?
Well, surprised because 8-turn might win it.
Hey, that'd be great, honestly.
Yeah.
Next thing.
Interesting.
After 6 years, YGX Academy Dance School has concluded their last classes. It's closing.
What?
Oh.
It's just like randomly.
YGX?
YGX, you know how YGX is also the crew, but they have a dance school. They're closing the school.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Maybe you know how it seems like YG might be downsizing a little bit because of reasons. That's what people are speculating.
Dang. I'm a little sad. Yeah, I like their stuff. Well, YGX is a dance studio. It was really cool. So.
Next, we mentioned this last week, but Next Z Ride the Vibe trailer came out. So we mentioned this last week. This is JYP's new Japanese boy group formed out of Neezy Project Season 2.
Right,
so that is happening. So people are excited about that. It seems like they're going to start in Japan, then they're going to come over to Korea.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Next one. Now that's what I call K-pop.
Oh my god.
It's coming out.
Wow.
That's the thing?
So if y'all don't remember, if you're a youngster, back in the day, there was this company called Now That's What I Call Music, and they would release compilation albums, your friend made you a mixtape of the recent pop songs level stuff,
all the
right?
Hits.
All the hits of the last year or of a certain genre, they would do it. But they are now making Now That's What I Call K-pop. They got the right somehow.
Wow.
And I have the song list as well.
Okay.
Who made it?
Stray Kids, La 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 La, 17, God of Music, TXT, Sugar Rush Ride, Twice, I Got You, NCT 127, Fact Check, Aespa Drama, and Hypin, Bite Me, Le Seraphim, Unforgiven featuring Nile Rodgers, ITZY, Untouchable, NMIX Dash, G-Idol, Queen Card, Red Velvet, Chill Kill, NCT Dream, Broken Melodies, 50/50 Cupid, From S9, Me Now, Kepler, Giddy, Stacy Bubble, Triple S Rising, Rise, Get a Guitar, Zero Base 1, In Bloom.
Okay.
This is a kind of banger lineup.
I'm seeing some missing folks. I'll be honest. I'm seeing a lack of IVE here. I'm seeing a lack of
you're right.
New Jeans.
New Jeans, IVE.
On the girl group side, that's what I'm missing here. What's going on?
Yeah, but this is a pretty good list, though. Pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, from some of these artists, I wouldn't have chosen these particular songs, but
yeah.
This should be a state activity. Now that's what I call K-pop SojuTalk edition.
And we should make a mixtape.
We'll make the list.
Okay, I like this. We'll do that at some point.
I think it was Bunny. Someone in the chat for SojuTalk in Discord mentioned that we should do like a starter kit a while back. We should do. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's been on my list for a while. We gotta do that.
Hits we recommend for somebody. Yeah.
The stupid minute in our door thing has thrown our whole state.
Yeah, we kind of stopped talking about Island season 2 as well, even though that show's honestly getting pretty exciting too.
I've been getting ready with a Doug outfit World Cup. Like that's gonna be a thing.
That too.
Yeah, let's keep going though. So, Eve from Luna solo debut in May. There was also an interview where they discussed wanting to try variety and acting as well. But isn't that what everyone's trying to do if you're a solo artist all of a sudden? Let's solidify the solo debut first in May, guys. I'm excited about this. She was one of my favorite members of Luna. We will have to see what it will look like. I'm sure people will be excited about that.
Nice.
Also, so a lot of the girls from Alice, they all just kind of trickled out and said like, after Sohee came out and said, I'm retiring because I'm marrying a businessman, right? Everyone's like, well, the group is probably done. It seems that way. So it was first announced that Doa of Alice has announced through an Instagram post that she ended her contract with IOK Company. So she's donezo. Also then Yuqi from Alice announced that she's also leaving too. And the three of them were kind of like three of the most popular kids in that group, including Sohee. So I think it's donezo, to be honest.
Well, we'll see. Maybe
they were Elris and they were doing okay. Then they rebranded to Alice and it just didn't go too well, to be honest.
Well, Chijung is still there. I remember her from Deuce.
Yeah. But they got 2 members left apparently on paper. So
yeah, Chijung and EJ.
Not the best. Okay, let's keep going. So IST announced that a member of ATBO named Rock1 is leaving the group to after he was diagnosed with anxiety disorder last year, and he needs to focus on a recovery period for himself. So he's leaving the group, and they will resume with 6 members going forward.
Oh yeah, Kingdom.
That's bad. His anxiety was so bad that he's like, I can't do this no more.
Man.
Wish him the best.
Yeah, I wish him the best. Yeah, man. Like,
that's rough, honestly. All right, let's keep going. Some good news. VVZ, they are going to tour. They are going to Seoul, Taipei, Hong Kong, Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Boston, New York City, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Detroit, Louisville, Nashville, Indianapolis, Chicago, Indianapolis, Chicago, Minneapolis, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, Dallas, San Antonio, Phoenix, Los Angeles, San Jose. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Look at how packed this is. That's 1 month, all of the U.S. tour stops.
Oh, my God. Oh, man.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's a tight schedule.
It's such a tight schedule.
1, 2,
oh my God,
3, 4,
yeah.
5, 6,
It's
7,
it's
8,
back to
9,
back.
16.
A lot of them are back to back. Like Oklahoma City to Dallas back to back.
That's roughly an average of 1 concert per 1.5 days.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, their tour is called Wind, Love and Tears. There might be a lot of love and tears on that tour, dude. But how packed this schedule.
Behind.
It's behind.
Is it not?
Did you say Wind?
Wind.
No, behind. Like behind, but the V.
Like behind.
Dude, you're gonna tell me that this V was actually an A or some bullshit name. So I'm just gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep going. Next thing. So it seems like they're doing it through Leo Presents because this was announced before the tour dates. It first announced VVZ's doing a tour. Then Leo Presents said, hey, we're handling the tour. Then they released the dates. It will all happen in the same week. And from what I could tell, Leo Presents is like domestically for the smaller groups, they're the best. That's what everyone says. Is that they handle the tours the best.
Okay.
So they said some of these other companies, it seems like it's a horror show, but I'm not gonna name names based on the things I read online. Next one. If you're a fan of the group 82 Major, they are also going to be going on a global tour in October of 2024.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Hey, congratulations to them. And then finally, okay, this is not straight news, but we had to discuss it. There was a controversy this week with some fans of 17 where they are allegedly bulk ordered tons of albums in Shibuya, Japan, and then they looked for the tickets to get into the fan sign, and they just threw out all the albums
cards,
after
tickets,
they went through them.
Yeah.
So this is a photo of their order, which is a lot of albums, probably a couple hundred here. And here is the aftermath that people found after the fact.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's a lot of albums.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not great.
I mean, there's more images floating around the line. There's folks who have like stacks of photo cards and they're just collecting them. I don't know, like guys, I don't know where to begin with this because this is an industry-wide issue. This is
It's not the first or the last, probably, but
like I know. To expand the scope a little bit, I know in the last press release, Hybe was openly like, we are doing our best to do ESG ESG entrepreneurship, which is a part of that is sustainability, and that's what I know. That's what you claim to be doing, but you very much know what you're playing into here.
This has been my take for the past like 5 years, right?
Yeah.
I've kind of modified the take a little bit recently.
Okay.
I said, when we release an album, right?
Yeah.
We can release a photo book with the CD in the back, right? If people want the actual CD or the photo book or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then we should also just release for every comeback trading cards instead.
Separate, make them separate.
It makes so much more sense the more we think about it these days, right? Or if you want to buy packs, like, you know, people open Pokemon cards on YouTube or they open sports cards, and there's a gigantic industry about that. And if like in this example where they're clearly looking for the photo cards or trying to get into the fan site, things like that, right? But they don't want the boxes because it makes so much waste. Just give them what they want, you know? Give them the goddamn cards in little, like, in tiny packages. It's so much better than doing this.
Yeah.
This is a part of where I respect what New Jeans has been doing. Like, they have moved away from doing like randomized, you get one of the 12 photo cards, you'll need to collect them all. Like, they don't do that. K-pop groups have been doing that. So obviously 17 has not been doing that. And I understand that going this route of, you know, get one from this randomized set of 12, I know that makes a whole lot more sense business wise. I know you're gonna rake in much more money, but at the same time, that's not a sustainable model. You know, like if that's what you're relying on to, you know, keep your business up like that, maybe rethink how much money goes into this fucking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Can we just do the trading cards instead? I seem like that's like an easy solution
fine.
here. We would. I know there would still be waste because, you know, it comes in a wrapper or whatever, but it would reduce the waste significantly. Like, and I think it would be fun.
The price too, maybe.
They would make so much money too if they did. To be honest,
just look at that image. Like, that actually just infuriates me. Like,
you don't want the one of one Wanu holocron double reverse mirror black foil autograph.
Shiny 17 card.
I know. You know what I was saying, like with the sports cards, how they put like pieces of, like a baseball player, they put pieces of bat, or they put a piece of the hat or the jersey. If we started doing that shit with like stage outfits, people would go nuts. Don't you think?
Yeah.
People would go crazy. They would make so much money. I don't know. Just I keep saying this, and I feel like it makes all the sense in the world, but they just don't want to do it.
Look, and I have to make the PSA here, right? Like, this is not an attack against Carrots. This is not criticism towards the wide community of 17
It's the companies.
Fans. It is a lot of this is set up from the company's perspective, and it's become this endless cycle. Like, you gotta stop somewhere, guys. Like, this is getting kind of freaky. Like, this is where I'm like, I don't know where to begin, because I know you guys need money. I know it's a corporation that needs money to survive. So this is why what you're doing is just these tactics.
This is getting to the level of that Chinese competition show where they were dumping milk down drains. The milk incident where they canceled the show because of it. That's what we're getting with this.
Well, 씨발 이게 뭔? I'm sorry.
It's a lot. It's a lot of ways, but
that's the news today. Next week in terms of releases, there's a group called Ascent. They're debuting.
Nice.
Dio is going to have his main release, I believe. Kim Jae-hwan is having a release. Triple S, Baekho and Big One. That should be fun. B2B, Yu Sung-jae is gonna have a solo release.
Ooh.
Artemis pre-release. Can they stop doing pre-release Artemis? Can we just get the thing already? Like, guys, what are we doing here?
Nope.
And then the two big ones, Stray Kids and Zero Base One. And by the way,
nice.
Stray Kids is at the Met Gala today, so they're there.
Nice. Ooh.
All right, we'll be back after a little break, and we're going to be giving an update on what's going on in the world of the HYBE versus Minijin Adore Civil War. 3, 2, 1.
And here's an extra special shout out to all of our Fiesta Patreons on patreon.com. Bagel, Charles, Cotton Ball, Ellie, Irv Tron, Gogu Mama, Honey Pools, Liam's Games and Toys, Luke Daniels, NJ Parks, South Texas Once, Siu Sumi. And thank you for joining SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop.
And special thanks to our Discord server mods: Jacob, K Music Erday, Koala, Max, No Bias Nuda, Tuggles, and Wolf297.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. We are back. We are going to talk about some follow-ups of the HYBE, Minijin, Adore Civil War stuff. I would say not a lot of super tangible things has happened. It's not like they magically found the computer, or it's not like, no huge actions happen. It's more just like he said, she said type of things these days, right? Where people are just arguing about what they mean by certain points and counter-arguing certain points, right? Is that where we're at?
Yeah. I mean, we'll break it down, right? Because like between last week and this week. So last week we put out that video separately on YouTube. We're not going to do that this week, but I still recommend you go on YouTube for it, for all the visual, supplementary visual. You get the idea, quotes and whatnot. But I mean, I pulled out 4 things that happened, right? Because on one hand, Adore made an actual response to HYBE and their response to the press conference. A report came out regarding Minijin's right towards New Jeans contract terminations. There was an organization in terms of what's going to happen going forward regarding shareholder meetings and the accusation investigations. And then, surprisingly enough, BTS got dragged into this because why not? So we're gonna see how that's a part of this as well. Does that kind of that kind of covers everything, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. There hasn't been too much stuff on a Western side. There's just been a bunch of rebuttals, but nothing really else. We didn't really even cover some of the fourth stuff.
No.
All that much.
Let's start with the Adore response, because that's the only like actual
big
tangible
thing.
anything.
Yeah.
They put out like a lengthy 9-part response, again similar to how HYBE did their response. You'll find the full translations online. I'm sure there's better translations and worse translations. You go do your own research. Although if you are having trouble finding translations, go use ChatGPT. That thing has been helping me a lot with this thing. But a lot of it was indeed HYBE is lying, similar to how HYBE was saying Minijin is lying. I don't think we're going to get a lot more solid evidence, concrete evidence at this point. But I pulled out 2 pieces of new information, right? One was regarding the HYBE, the Adore VP. Reportedly, what happened was when this was all starting, the VP, who obviously had a lot of previous work with Hybe, went to their offices and they were like, hey, can you not pull this media press war? Can we talk about this internally? And then Hybe apparently said something along the lines of, if you get on a lawsuit, how will you manage the damages that you'll be in charge of, and to think about your family, quote unquote.
Oh, them's are fighting words.
They implied that there would be no problem if the vice president cooperated, and pressured him into signing a consent form for providing information. And then the day after, contents of the vice president's private KakaoTalk messages were leaked to the media. So I'm going to go off, for the sake of conversation, if you go off the assumption that this is correct and factual information, now we know that some of the information that was coming out earlier during the scandal came from his personal machines and their personal messages, not why are you Kakao talking on your computer from work kind of situation. That's one takeaway I had with this. Adore is obviously blowing it up. They're saying it's a serious invasion of privacy and a violation of human rights concerning the individual, yada yada yada. You get the idea.
It'd be interesting. Like, I don't know if we'll ever find out how they got these chat logs, but I do know at some companies, if you connect to their Wi-Fi as an employee, they basically have a right to see what you're doing, and that might be how they get this shit. Right? It depends on the company.
Yeah. I mean, legally, I have some questions, but then again, he did consent to it.
He signed the papers.
Yeah, he signed the consent form after the. Obviously, not a great look, but then again, Adore has no evidence to back this up, so we'll have to see how this plays out.
So to sum up, Mr. A more or less got some of his chat logs leaked, and he's kind of claiming he got threatened a little to agree to give them more information, things like that, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a lot more back and forth about he said, she said. They did, however, address the put option rate, because if you guys remember previously, there was a report that came out that during the renegotiation process for their shareholder agreement, Hee-jin asked for the 13 times put option rate to be increased to a 30 times rate, which means when she sells her stocks, instead of getting 13 times the profit, she's going to get 30 times the profit. Hybe said that was a point of disagreement during this renegotiation process, which has made it drag out a little bit. Adore, regarding that, has said that proposal was made during the process of amending various unreasonable elements in the shareholder agreement and was meant to reflect the future value of producing a new boy group. It was not a priority item in the negotiation process.
That's interesting. Because here's the thing. Yeah. This is a very smart way to stay this, because we have no clue and no information about how far along this boy group is, all these type of things would affect that, right? If you because Adore could say, look how successful we were to New Jeans. Hybe could be like, well, we don't have a boy group, so how would we know, right? What if we flop?
Right.
So why are we going to give you 30%? But at the same time, Adore could say like, wait, but did you see, we already held the auditions, we have kids. And they're like, so we're close, right? So we could do that, but Hybe would be like, no, we're not even started yet. So how can you ask for more money when this group doesn't exist? So that's a very big point. I could see that being a point of contention for sure.
I think there's two things we can pull out by reading between the lines here. One is their confidence in this new boy group.
Yeah, that's crazy. Without even releasing one song, one teaser, one album, to say we need to 2.5x our compensation right off the bat. You know.
I remember the auditions for this though too.
That happened pretty recently, about a year or so ago now, right?
Yeah,
that's crazy. Where they're like, we haven't done anything, but we know it's gonna be big.
So it's gonna be big.
So 2x our money, please. Right? That's crazy.
On the other hand, if I think about when the negotiation was originally made, and then when the renegotiation happened, the New Jeans success happened between those two events.
Yes. And so, honestly, it makes sense though from Adore too, because if you think about sports contracts, right? Think about this. Let's say I signed LeBron James for 5 years when he was younger, right?
Right.
And then after the 5 years, he needs a new contract. Now I know how his track record is, but I'm going to compensate him for things I don't know, which could be similar to this. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I'm just trying to point out that like because New Jeans was wildly successful, there is reason for Adore to say I would like a increase in my profit.
Yes, for sure. I mean? Yeah, for sure. But to use the boy group is a very interesting move, I think.
Mentioning that at all is like,
yeah,
you don't even have to mention that in your response. I guess you're that proud of what you're doing with your new boy group so far.
Little tease.
We'll have to see. We'll also have to see how that fares without Hee-jin in the creative.
That's true.
Yeah. So that was the Adore response. There's obviously a lot more. A lot of it boils down to nope, Hybe was lying. But then again, Hybe's response boils down to nope, Hee-jin was lying. So
I saw a Twitter thread and it's like a lot of the points for each of the 9 points they were making was like, nope, that didn't happen. Nope, I didn't see it like that. Or you know what I mean? It wasn't really like giving concrete as to why it's no, but they're just saying no, they're lying. You know, like. So it's hard to point to like figure out exactly where the truth is.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. There was another report that came out regarding New Jeans. And then Hee-jin asking for for approval-less right to terminate New Jeans' contracts, right? Hybe said no to that, but hey, Hybe in a press release said it's been reported that Hee-jin, the CEO of Adore, has demanded the authority to unilaterally terminate the exclusive contract of the affiliated group New Jeans as the sole representative director this year. In response to that, Hee-jin's representative stated that it was a request aimed at resolving unreasonable interference from Hybe. They also acknowledged that on January 25th, Hee-jin requested to exercise the authority as the CEO regarding matters such as selecting external contractors, signing important contracts, including an exclusive contract during a face-to-face meeting with the Hybe CEO Park Ji-won. So,
okay, let me break this down.
They didn't say no.
Let me explain what this is. So, before Hee-jin wanted any of this, the way it would happen is if for some reason New Jeans wanted to get out of their contracts, they would not only have to go through Hee-jin, but it would have to involve Hybe as the main shareholder, right?
Yeah.
What this is stating is that Hee-jin wanted a change in it to state that she and her CEOs can be solely responsible and have the power to end New Jeans contracts if they wanted to. Right?
Yes.
Without involving Hybe, they could just do it.
Yes.
So, what would be the benefit to doing that, Warren? Why would you want to do that?
Do you want to go? So, for context here, if you guys remember, there were reportedly two plans that Adore was planning behind the scenes. One was what we call the empty shell plan, in which number one, Hee-jin is going to exit Hybe by selling her shares, making Adore an empty shell.
The stock tanks then?
The stock tanks. And then Hee-jin essentially exits with New Jeans by terminating the contracts.
Let me better explain this. So it's called the empty shell theory, where essentially Hee-jin would leave the company, get rid of everything she owns with Adore, and she would also end New Jeans' contract. So the company is now valueless. Just the employees are there, right?
Right.
So there's no artist, there's no way to make money. The stock tanks. Then she gets her friends, maybe the Saudis, maybe the Singaporeans to come in. They invest. Hee-jin puts money back into the company, buys it for cheap, re-signs New Jeans, everyone's honky-dory. And we got free from Hybe.
Yeah.
Right? That's what
that
this
was the
plan
theory,
stated.
yeah.
And this is kind of, this kind of feels like that would be proof that might be one of the plans they were trying to do, right? If she actually asked for these type of rights.
And the timeline makes sense too, because she did it apparently earlier this year, which is, when she was apparently starting to make moves. Although my question is, why does she not have that right yet?
I think it's because
she's the CEO. She's the main manager. No,
it's because they only own 18%. That's why.
No, but she's still the CEO. She's the head of the board of directors. She's the leading person in board. Here's the issue, right? None of Hybe folks are involved in the board of directors. They're only the shareholders. In Korea, the way these companies work, shareholders don't have a direct access in terms of how these companies are run on a day-to-day basis, which includes stuff like this. You know what I mean?
But the fact that she asked for it means that they don't have the rights that you're saying, because clearly they had to go through Hybe. the way you're talking about it.
Right. That's where I'm saying, like, fundamentally, why didn't she have this right to begin with?
Well,
She's
because
the CEO.
No, it's because I'm assuming that when this is a complete assumption or a guess.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
My feeling is that when Hybe gave her the money to make this company and to set that all up, they included rights to have some kind of veto rights on things. That's probably what this stems from.
The thing is, like, with the rest of the quote regarding, the right to hire third-party contractors for other important things, that part does line up with her narrative in the press conference, where she was saying that Hybe was constantly trying to use their people for, people running events, people running auditions, that kind of thing.
I get that. On one hand, Hee-jin saying, I wanted this right because Hybe was interfering too much.
Right.
But on the other hand, Hybe is saying she wanted these rights so she could just get Nugent out of the company.
The thing is, this is where, like, it's very painfully clear that Hybe does not see Adore as a separate legal entity. Because if Adore was actually a company and all Hybe was doing was providing 80% of the shares, that right should belong with the board of directors, which lines up with Hee-jin, SDH, and then Kim Ye-min. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, I don't know how Korean companies work, because in America, she wouldn't have been able to get rid of their contracts because of the ownership structure. I don't know about Korea, but in America, she wouldn't have been able to get rid of Nugent's contracts without consulting Hybe because they own 80%.
Because they own 80%.
Yeah, and I know in America that's the case, because in America, whoever owns the more shares essentially gets to control it at the end, even if you're the CEO.
So this is actually a part of the next part of the conversation, but typically board of directors do not have shareholders do not have direct access into day-to-day management issues, which this kind of falls into. If, for example, Adore was being sold into another company, that would be a major enough issue where the shareholders would have a say in, but this would not be one of them. That came out from a separate report from regarding
that really then comes down to, like, the argument of in the eyes of the law, how big is Nugent as an entity, right? Is it big enough where the shareholders could have a say, or is it not, right? That's essentially what you're getting at.
We could keep. So when BTS was signing again with Big Hit, there was a lot of reports of them signing again. And in fact, Big Hit went through the hurdle of making a public disclosure to their shareholders, which is not required by the law.
Interesting. Okay, so then if that's the precedent, then I guess
those are not seen as, like, major events where the shareholders get involved.
That's crazy, because for me as an American, I think it's the group as the main product. You know what I mean?
Oh,
that's.
I can't speak for the American law.
It seems like Korea seems more that the business of selling the albums is more of the actual business than the groups themselves. Do you get what I'm saying there?
I can't. I don't know about that.
Well, no, that's basically what you're saying in this.
All I'm saying is that the contract status of major artists is not something shareholders typically get involved into. Because that's why shareholders were making a big fuss when BTS was signing or not signing again. Like, they wanted to get involved.
I really want to know. You don't have this answer, but I really want to know what the rights of shareholders are when you own more than 50%. Do you know what I'm saying? Because to me, if I own 50% of a company, right, or 51% logically in my head, if I own more than 51% of a company, whatever this shit happens, even though I'm not involved in day-to-day, I would feel like I have the final rights as anything.
Okay.
At least
this is actually
an American.
Good pivot.
In America, that's how it works.
This is a good pivot. This is a good pivot. Because that plays into what Hybe is doing right now. As the majority shareholder, they're exercising their right. So here's what they're trying to do, right? So typically in a company as big as this, there are three things, right? There's the shareholders, board of directors, and the CEO. The shareholders appoints who goes in the board of directors. The board of the directors then appoints who the CEO is, right? There, separately from that, there is also an audit committee who is appointed by the shareholders and then is looking after the board of directors and the CEO. I believe the structure also works in America as well, right? Yeah. In the case right now, for Adore, 80% of the shareholders is from Hybe, 18% is from Hee-jin, 2% are other Adore employees. They appointed Min-jin, Shin Dong-hoon, and creative director Kim as the 3 people in board of directors, all of which are Min-jin and her friends, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They appointed the CEO, which happens to be in this situation, Hee-jin. Now, recently there have been a lot of requests to hold a general shareholders meeting, a board of directors meeting, yada 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 yada. Hybe wanted to do one. Min-jin originally said no, but recently, a couple weeks ago, Adore's legal team came out and said that we do plan to hold a board meeting by the end of by May 10th, and then a shareholders meeting by the end of the May. And they'll provide more additional information about that in May 13th. What that means, once they have a board of directors meeting, they can agree to have a shareholders meeting. At the shareholders meeting, they can agree to change who goes in the board of directors. And once Hybe replaces who goes in the board of directors, they can agree to get rid of Min-jin.
But the way you said that, it isn't Hybe F because the board of directors, which is those 3, are just going to say, let's not have a shareholders meeting.
So you're actually right. This is where Hybe towards the Seoul Central Legal 서울지방법원, they looked up 서울지방법원 and they were like, we have an emergency issue. We want to have a temporary shareholders meeting.
Exactly.
Is not letting us do
what
one.
I'm saying. Yeah,
right.
This makes sense now.
So now the court essentially said you gotta have a shareholders meeting. You do not have you have a legal obligation to do it when the majority shareholder wants to. And Min-jin is saying, I agree. Okay.
So basically, if it was the original way where the board of directors has to allow the shareholders meeting to happen, in this case, they would say F that, but the court basically said there's an emergency, you got to have it.
You got to do it.
Therefore, Min-jin and her friends have to agree to it.
Yes.
Okay.
So now the takeaway is that shareholders meeting is going to happen near the end of this month. And soon after that,
she's going to get fired, right?
She's going to get fired. Yeah, 99.9%.
I have one question about the earlier topic we were talking about. I thought about this, right?
Okay.
You remember we said in the eyes of the law last week, the whole thing is breach of trust, right?
That's what Hybe is filing her for. Yes.
Yes. So my question is, in what world is ending NewJeans' contracts not a breach of trust? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if that was the case, you remember like this plan that they had where she was going to get the rights and they're saying she was going to randomly get rid of NewJeans' contract? In what world is that not breach of trust? Because that's not in the best interest of the company.
I think people agreed that would fall under breach of trust.
Right? Yeah,
it's just the issue is that never happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know how they would have tried to argue that wasn't breach of trust if they did it, right?
If they did it, that's breach of trust.
It had to have been, right?
Actually, I don't know. I'm not the lawyer here, but...
So that's kind of pointing at the fact that people are saying that it was a doomed plan from the start, right? Because they would have been effed at some point. Right? No, really. Right? Because, there's no way that
part doesn't make sense to begin with, because, like...
It does not.
She can't leave a door without Hybe's permission.
I get that. But that doesn't require her to act or anything, but to get rid of NewJeans and the empty shell plan, you're just effed at that point. There's no way.
But going back to this situation, it is Hybe is going to exercise their right. It is pretty much a white flag for Min-jin, is what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Because the shareholders meeting is happening so that they can get rid of her.
So it seems like at the end of the day, the board of directors will probably get changed to people who are loyal to Hybe.
Yeah.
That's what they would do.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, they will probably oust those 3 people, including Min-jin, from her CEO position, right?
Right.
And at the end of the day, it seems that only Hybe is suing down to Min-jin, right, at the moment. Is there any countersuits in play yet? Because no, right?
No, so they can't even do that.
So they can't even do that?
No. Here's the thing. Hybe didn't sue Min-jin.
Oh, it's the government?
They put in a accusatory file, a claim.
Oh, okay.
So essentially any citizen can go ahead and say Min-jin is breaking the law. That's essentially what's happening. I could have filed one. You couldn't because you're not Korean. But if you're Korean, you could have filed one. You get the idea, right?
And it has to be investigated.
It has to be investigated. So technically, Hybe hasn't sued anybody yet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. This makes more sense then.
Yeah. And the reason, the way I see it, the reason Hybe hasn't sued anybody is because once they do that,
and if they prove that it did happen, then they could sue out the wazoo, and they have a huge precedent on them, right? More or less.
No. So my interpretation was that once they get in the lawsuit, they're gonna pause trading all their stocks. They're about to go into. Remember, they're about to go into major company status. They're also at a big stage gate in terms of this.
And we need these contexts. This is all confusing.
Okay. Does that part kind of make sense?
I mean, this
Yes.
part about how to remove a CEO makes sense. If we to sum it up, normally the board of directors is the one who calls the shareholders meeting. At the shareholders meeting, then they could get rid of the board of directors and the CEO. But in this case, Hee-jin and her friends aren't going to hold a shareholders meeting because it makes no sense to.
Yeah.
So then basically the Hybe went to the government, says we need to have it because we're having an emergency, and they said, yeah, you could have it, and then that's why Hee-jin's going to get kicked out, and Hee-jin more or less agreed to it because she has to.
She kind of has to at this point. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, here's another interesting thing that happened in the recent couple weeks. And I'm going to do my best to just outline exactly what happened. None of my personal biased opinions here, because Hybe has explicitly said they're gonna, get into a lawsuit with everybody who's trying to defame BTS and their artists and whatnot. So I'm just outlining what's happening. All of you in the comments. Okay. I'm just saying what's happening here, right? So there was a lot of funeral flowers outside the Hybe offices in Seoul last weekend. These funeral flowers, they're white kuka flowers. They're organized in a specific way, and they're sent to funerals by people who want to pay respects but can't be there in person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if you go to a Korean funeral, you'll see these white flowers in these like triangular arrangements all the time. They had a lot of messaging regarding how Hybe is using BTS, right? I'm gonna read the translations. One said, "It is our BTS when you need them, but meat shields when you're losing."
Shit.
Another said, "I dream of BTS's Hybe exodus. When will the risk owners stop?" Another one said, "Silence is what we got when we ask for a response. I'm paying my respects in case you're dead."
Ooh.
So can you explain the second two? I don't get the translation.
You don't get. I translated them. That's probably why. Silence is what we got when they asked for a response regarding the current controversy. This person is paying their respects in case the person is dead and therefore silent.
Oh, because they think you must be dead if you're not answering.
Yeah.
So what that is saying is we asked you guys to respond to people making BTS Hajegi claims. You guys didn't say anything, so I'm leaving these funeral flowers in case you're dead because you didn't respond, right?
Yes. There are open public letters from Korean Army, that was posted on a literal news paper last week on the same day. There are numerous Korean Army explaining why they're sad and displeased with the way Hybe is doing their management situation. So essentially, right, a bunch of artists were mentioned in this situation with
of course,
Hee-jin. I'm not gonna name all the ones because I don't really want to name the ones that are not needed to be named here, but Hybe did drag BTS into this on April 24th. That was the report that started mentioning this specific artist. So from the Korean Army perspective, their argument is y'all dragged BTS into this, and now there's people online talking about all these stupid ass allegations, and you're not doing anything to protect BTS.
So from what I understand, go back. I-DLE was when Hee-jin said I-DLE creatively copied me, right?
Yes.
To Us, Rise, and BTS was when Hybe said Hee-jin said these groups are also copying her, right? So they just brought this up.
Yes.
And then Le Sserafim and aespa were mentioned at the press conference. Le Sserafim, when Hee-jin was talking about how they were going to debut Le Sserafim first, and she was like confused, and they were bringing in Chaewon and Sakura, and she was like, "Oh my god, I wanted to have a press conference because I didn't know what was going on." Things like that.
Right.
And then aespa is when Hee-jin brought up the text messages between her and Bang PD when he says you should crush them, step on them, whatever you want to interpret it as.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. That is
so,
correct.
From what I'm understanding here, it is that the BTS fans are angry that during this argument that Hybe and Hee-jin is having, they basically just said, you know what? Hee-jin said, Us Rise and BTS are copying them too, or is copying her too, right? So they just brought up their name as ammunition, more or less.
Essentially. That's where the meat shield commentary is coming from.
Okay.
Because from their perspective, they dragged BTS into this without proper evidence, without proper reasoning to begin with. And now...
So their argument is that they used BTS's name as an emotional appeal to get people on Hybe's side.
Right.
Okay.
Because, I mean, like, people in general like BTS in Korea. Even if you don't like their music, they're seen as people that have done a lot, achieved a lot in the music industry. So respect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where they're coming from. There are currently two major pieces of allegations going around. One regarding them being in a cult, and the other regarding sajegi, market manipulation, marketing. I don't want to get too deep into this, but there is a Seoul Central District court ruling that came out in 2017 that essentially acknowledges the existence of potentially illegal marketing in the ruling itself. It is mentioned as sajegi at some points and then mentioned as legally gray area marketing as well. Although the court ruling itself is not about the marketing method itself. So they did not dig deeper into whether it is legal or not. That's what's said here. He said, lawyer Hong Jin-yeon of Chungrim Law Firm said, at the time of the judgment, the legality of sajegi marketing was not the main focus, so it appears that the court did not specifically assess its legality at the time. Hybe did at the time in 2017 come out. Well, I guess that's Big Hit. Big Hit in 2017 did come out and said at that time all expenses related to advertising and promotional agencies were processed through legitimate accounting procedures and the claims of coercion were unnecessary to even refute. Illegal marketing is merely malicious portrayal of the industry standard online viral marketing that other companies partake in as well. So essentially, court has said that there was some funny business in terms of marketing that is being dug up again as sajegi, and Korean Army is unhappy that, you know, Hybe hasn't really said anything in terms of that situation. You know what I mean?
They could have at least reiterated their point that that was a bunch of BS and everyone else is doing it. You know, you would think that they would just rehash that statement they made.
That's my question. It's like, you had a rebuttal in 2017.
You should just restate this. You should say, as we stated in 2017, blah 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you think you would do?
That's what I'm saying. Like, look at this article. It says 2017 September 6th, 5 p.m. Edited that same day on the 5 p.m. 23.
So the Korean armies are basically saying, hey, BTS is getting dragged because these sajegi allegations. It would be nice if you could respond to them and defend them at least, right? Is that their point of view?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean...
I honestly, I could see it because...
I'd be fucking pissed off too!
I would be pissed off too because if Hybe is using BTS as a meat shield and bringing them up as an emotional appeal to get people on our side and not Hee-jin's side, the minimum they could do is then defend them as to... like counter arguments and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You would think.
Like if you're gonna
bring them up for emotional appeal, you got to defend them then, you know, or else it doesn't make sense. Yeah,
it's like
I get that.
Honestly, from my perspective, it's like bringing up a meat shield and then it's like losing hit points because it's
you just throw it away.
Then you throw it away after. Like that's what I'm worried about. You know what I mean? Like
okay, I can see what is going on here. That does make sense from their perspective.
Now that being said, in the video last week, and on Twitter as well, for that matter, getting a lot of comments about how Korean people hates BTS, about how we are sentimental, stupid people. Stop being racist, please. I didn't think that I'd have to say that all today, but here we are. People were saying saying stuff along the lines of how these allegations are coming up because Korea has no respect towards their greatest artist. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Quite the opposite, it seems like.
Yeah, like we're clearly we're displeased about this shit. So yeah, there you go. That's all I had for today.
Full mess.
What I've learned through this whole mess, people might be confused about certain parts. I'm confused about how Korean business works because it doesn't make sense to my American head. To be honest, some of it, like,
I mean, I had to do a lot of research to learn.
This type of stuff makes sense, but it's like basically in the US, you rarely see a situation where someone owns the company but then can't make the final decisions, right? On paper, that's like a very weird anomaly, but that might happen in these type of scenarios where companies, even though they're seen as like under the umbrella. You know what I mean?
See, okay,
like
so
that's why it's very confusing to me.
My perspective in terms of, so as far as I understand, this is also the case in America. The only reason this typically isn't an issue, and this is where I made a mistake, is the board of directors typically reflects who's on the
side of the shareholders, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like typically this never becomes an issue.
Yeah,
clearly it did here.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that.
As far as I understand, this could be an issue in the American law.
It could probably happen, but I've never remember this level. Like, you rarely hear like coups in Korean business. I mean, American business companies. You know, you almost never hear about such a thing.
But here we are.
In Korea, I know it's more common because people do that shit. People do that shit. It's crazy.
It's stuff.
It's actually, if you think about it, it's insane that Hype set up the board of directors to have like no direct loyalists that they knew were like hella loyal.
Yeah, I don't know if they were trusting Hee-jin too much here or not.
That's
like
crazy.
That is like I don't know.
That's crazy.
Like, don't get me wrong.
I'm wondering, like, maybe they were wanting to prove, like, yeah, this is a separate entity. We don't have any, like, we were letting you do your creative
Maybe it was
thing.
an act of good faith or something.
Right.
Maybe.
Might have been.
I don't know. Like, I understand Hee-jin has done some stupid shit in terms of business, like, you know, not reading your contract before you sign it, apparently. But like,
hey,
some of this reads pretty stupid as well to me. Like,
Hee-jin's essentially become a folk hero in Korea, though, regardless of what you think about her business practices.
I'd say the general public, the way they're responding, I say they're kind of 50-50. Like, there's
yeah, I feel like,
but they were not 50-50 before that press conference. You know?
No, yeah. I mean, but then again, she did provide.
Do you? This is my final thing.
Okay.
Speculation. Do you see her able to get funding to make another company if she gets kicked out of
100%.
You would think it would happen?
100%.
Okay. You think some of Hype's competitors would swoop her up and give her the world
right away? The only issue is that non-compete.
Exactly.
I don't know the details of how long this non-compete. Surprisingly enough, this non-compete, we don't know how long it lasts after, you know, she leaves the.
But I'm sure they'll figure out something because this is an unprecedented case. And hey, here's some food for thought. This is a disclaimer, completely my thoughts, no one else's.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be funny?
Oh boy.
That now we have SM 3.0 owned by Kakao. Isuman is not there anymore.
Oh my god, I was reminded of that.
SM.
Yo.
It could happen. It could happen. Because what's the easiest way to hurt Hype is to get their biggest enemy, who is Hee-jin.
That's crazy.
Could you imagine?
That would be funny.
That would be insane.
I mean, she could get a job at YG or JYP.
Yeah, so we'll have to see though. All right, I know it's like
that's about it.
It's now that not a lot of like active news is coming out. Like there hasn't been a meeting or something like that. We're in the slog, and that's why some of the stuff we said today might be like nitty gritty, a little confusing because it is. Honestly, we're in the weeds right now.
What's realistically going to happen out from here? There's 3 major timeline events to think about. One is that whatever Adore wants to release on May 16th, apparently that's supposed to be a big rebuttal of some sort. Then there is going to be that shareholder meeting in which
they'll probably fire her.
We're gonna say goodbye to that. A couple of years from now, we're gonna see the results come out of that investigation. Hopefully within next year. That will take a long time, especially because that is not a lot. It sucks for her.
She might be just in limbo for a couple of years, honestly.
Probably will be. I mean,
I don't
I mean, she's a stupid person. I don't feel particularly bad about her. I feel bad for New Jeans. I feel bad.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
I feel bad for all the groups that were even mentioned and used as ammunition against
anybody
each other.
else who was just named.
Whether she said things or not, it's like it got brought up. All these groups got brought up. Whether it came out of her mouth or Hybe's mouth, it all got brought up.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Messy.
Okay. Hopefully we don't have to have another special for a while until something actually. I don't think there's gonna be the need to have another special. We'll probably just report when something happens because it'll be spot things.
Hopefully next week we can come back to doing normal stuff.
Hopefully we could do fun stuff or talk about Island or something like
World
that.
Cup. Remember those?
All right. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.